Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Deep Rock Galactic. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zrel. Let's get to it. Alright, so today we're doing the deep dive for the week, and you can see it's in the thorny region of the asteroid. But before we get to the deep dive, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. Alright, so let's get into it. So the deep dive, of course, is composed of 3 stages, and each stage usually has unique modifiers and 2 objectives, which is just like regular assignments. However, these assignments are required before you can extract. So there's no optional secondary assignment. They both have to be done. So in the first stage, you have volatile guts, low oxygen, and you're doing Morkite and the black box. You see the black box here. Low oxygen, you have an oxygen meter on the right-hand side, which will go down whenever you're away from either the objective or the mule or a resupply pod. Anything that has those O2 canisters on it. And of course, it'll go up whenever you're close to them. So you only have about a minute to a minute and a half of oxygen before you run out. Once that starts running out, then you start losing your health as well. So don't run out of O2. It's not a big deal if you're by yourself, because you can always call the mule to you. If you're in a group, then you'll want to be relatively close, so don't wander off. Always stay relatively close to each other so that the mule's never very far away. So very, very important. Additionally, volatile guts works both ways. If your enemies are close to other enemies, they'll damage them when they die because they'll explode. But if they're close to you, they'll explode as well. One of the other things that you'll want to remember is that because everything carries over from one stage to the other, both your ammo and your supplies, you're going to want to ration your ammo whenever possible. So if you're by yourself, use Bosco when you can and your pickaxe. And in the case of working as a group, you'll want to be close together, concentrate firepower, use your pickaxe when you can, when the enemy bugs are low health. Now the big thing, the absolute most important part of the stage is getting out. Because it's low oxygen, you need to be close to the mule so that you can keep that oxygen meter full. So ordinarily, when you call in the drop pod, you can get there however you want, and you can get there way ahead of time, and it's no big deal. This time, that's not really the case, because no matter how close you think you are, you're really not close enough in order to, get in and make sure that you have enough oxygen. So I would say get right on top of that mule whenever possible so that you can fill up and keep that oxygen meter up as high as possible or full. Even though you think that maybe you're only about 30 seconds away from getting to the drop pod, assume that it's going to take longer than the amount of time that you have in your oxygen meter. And then, of course, once the mule docks, the only way to get more oxygen is to get on the drop pod itself.
It's a big guy. Let's go.
So very important, because if you go down and your group goes down, then you're going to have to start over. And that's the case with the deep dive anyway. You're going to have to start completely over, whether it's stage 1 or stage 3. So it's important that at least one member of your party makes it out. So even if 3 members go down, as long as one person gets out, you can continue on to the next stage. Would it be better if everyone made it out? Absolutely. But unfortunately, it is what it is. But if everyone is close together, because you're trying to keep that oxygen meter up, then you should be able to bring each other up relatively quickly, especially if two people are bringing you up. All right, so once you get out of stage 1, you'll be on to stage 2. Like I said, now everything carries over. That includes your gold, your nitra, your ammo, your supplies, grenades, everything. So whatever you're carrying with you is going to automatically go over to the next stage. So be sure to grab plenty of nitra and use the appropriate amount of ammo whenever possible, so that you're not calling in resupplies unnecessarily. Now the second stage, you have lethal enemies, which means they're going to do more melee damage than normal. So stay away from the enemies if at all possible. Make sure to keep your distance. And we're doing liquid morkite, so on-site refinery, and 2 alien eggs. Now it's important to note that you cannot start refining morkite until you get the alien eggs first. So it will not, even though you have all the pipelines done, you won't be able to refine the liquid morkite until you have both alien eggs. So if you're in a group, I would say have 2 people working on pipelines and 2 people working on eggs, and then whoever finishes first can help with the others. More than likely, the eggs won't take nearly as long. If you have an engineer and also a scout, those are probably the best two to get the alien eggs. If you don't, a driller would be pretty good. Gunner would also work, just depending on how mobile and how easy it's going to be to get up to where the alien eggs are out at. So I'm going to show how to get from each one, or how I did it, to get the pipeline to each of them. And
There we go.
then we'll pick up from there.
A lot easier to deal with. Dump this out again. And let's see if we can add it right there.
I plunked down.
Careful. Okay. So far, so good.
Big swarm detected. Buggerman, get ready.
Someone would help me build it.
Didn't I just have a swarm? I feel like that I did.
Pipe placed.
Contact! Lock and load.
I'll be dreaming of pipes.
There we go. And it's where? It's up there.
Pipe segment up. Right here. This should work. Bosco's here! One down, more to go. Pipes up.
Too steep, too steep. Not too steep. Alright, so this should be it here. Alright.
All right, so we got 2 eggs and we have all 3 pipelines connected and built, so we're all set. So once you get those alien eggs, then the button will be active and then you can start refining. A couple things,
Return to the refinery.
whether you're by yourself or in a group, it's important to stay on the move, especially since these are lethal enemies. So if you have a defensible position that is around or close to one of the pipelines, I would say do that, where you can see the enemies coming relatively far off, or grind on those pipelines back and forth to keep as a moving target so that the enemies are not going to be easily able to take you out. And if you want to stay in a group of 2, obviously that'd be great. Additionally, of course, when the pipelines get damaged, be able to be available to repair them if at all possible. And then, of course, when you call in the drop pod, it's very important to keep on the move as well during that time until it drops. And once it drops, then, of course, get inside as quickly as possible and get your teammates there. But once you're there, you're all set for stage 3. So let's get into stage 3. Alright, so here we are at stage 3. Unlike the other stages, this one does not have any modifiers. So we're doing 6 alien eggs and 2 mini mules. The mini mules, of course, you'll see that kind of green pulsating glow. The eggs you can see on the terrain scanner, so you'll always be able to see where they're at. If you're visually looking at them, you'll see kind of a red pulsing light. If you're in a group, it should go relatively quickly. If you have Bosco, you can always use him to get the alien eggs if they are in an inopportune location. Now, this one doesn't really need modifiers, and hopefully when you're in here, you'll have at least 160 nitra and be looking for more because you're going to need it, since every time you pick an alien egg, it can trigger a swarm. So the swarms are always kind of a pain, and you want to get this done as quickly as possible. So get in, get out as quickly as you can. Bosco can be kind of a double-edged sword. He can help you out, but while he's helping you, say, dig for alien eggs, he's not shooting enemies. So you kind of have to pick your battles and have him help you out with the battles, probably more often than getting the eggs, especially if a swarm is on top of you. So for this last stage, I would say maybe get into groups of 2 if possible. If you're in a group, if you're by yourself, like I said, you can use Bosco for fights, to help with fights. He can't fight your fights for you, especially when it comes to swarms. He just doesn't have the firepower and reloadability to get you through it without some help. So if you're in a group, I would say go ahead and pair up, and hopefully you both don't go down, and just look for the eggs, grab the eggs, look for the mules, get the mules repaired, as quickly as possible. Call in resupplies as you need it, and hopefully you have plenty of nitra to spare so that you don't have to worry about running out of your favorite gun ammo or whatever. But that's it. Get out and you're done. You have a good chunk of experience and credits coming your way when you finish, not to mention those matrix cores. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.
Light it up!
Alright. Great thing about knowing that you're on the last stage is that you don't have to kind of ration your ammo or anything. You just let it fly. Okay, I do that. Wasn't sure if I had my turret with me or not. Alright. What the heck do you think you're doing?
Objective completed.
Yes.
All eggs collected.
Come here!
All objectives done. Press the button on the mule when you're ready and we'll send the drop pod back in.
Resupply ordered!
Supplies are on the way.
Resupply pod is here! Everybody collect ammunition!
We're sending in the drop pod. Head for LZ.
Don't get too attached now! Getting more ammo!
I know I got full. Alright, there it is.
Drop pod has arrived. Retrieving the mule.
I'm guessing it's gonna go through the tunnel.
Drop
Yep.
pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
Oh, I can see the light. The light at the end of the tunnel.
Stick around!
Oh, look at
Let's
that.
get out of this sticky, late noise. Sentry gun needs assembly. Rock and roll. Bug trap.
Oh, there we go.
The mule's
Made
been
it out.
successfully retrieved. Make it snappy, team. The drop pod won't hang around forever. Retrieving escape pod.